I am Lindsay. I'm a geoenvironmental engineer at Ardmore Point. Basically, our company have been heading up the ground investigation for Garrion Tower. We first got involved in 2023, I'm sure. We did the phase 1 report. I've only been with the company since last year, so basically my knowledge on that is from reading through the reports we've done, but it's been really interesting to sort of look through, and now I'm involved in the actual phase 2 groundworks. So a ground investigation is really important. Basically, we'll start off, we'll do like research about the site, look up all the historical maps, look for any possible contamination sources. That all goes in a phase 1 kind of desk study report. That'll then inform what we do for our phase 2. So then we'll come in with a drilling rig or do some trial pits, things like that, basically find out what's actually here. I mean, ground investigation is really important for a project. Number one, to get planning permission legally, you need to have it in place, but it saves you so much money down the line in terms of you could build something and then you come across loads of structural issues down the line that you would have found out if you'd done the ground investigation first. Contamination as well, it identifies things before you're then one step ahead of the game, basically, so it saves you money down the line. Basically, good cooperation between all the different teams is important. We'll work alongside the project management team to plan out site works, inform them of the risks that we're sort of identifying as we go, feeding back all the information that we find to them in terms of the architects, everything that we find in terms of ground conditions, any contamination. That'll then inform their design, as well as their proposed designs informs what we're looking for in the first place and where we're looking, and then they can make alterations depending on what we find. Yeah, so it all kind of feeds into each other throughout. Yeah, so basically contamination, it'd be various things that we test for. We have a standard suite that we test for, and it's got heavy metals, like oils and things, hydrocarbons, which is a generic kind of thing you might find in. Here I don't think there's too much of it, but made ground, so basically historically they've just dumped stuff into the ground or it's full of nasty things. Basically that's usually full of contaminants, sometimes not too bad, but here I don't think there's a lot of it. There's a thin layer in some of the areas. Mainly what we're looking for here would be from adjacent site uses, so I think there's some farmland around us and then possibly historical markets and things nearby. So we'll basically identify potential contaminants from that and then test for them, make sure that nothing's been transported on site or migrated. Probably with something like this, you've got such an old building there, I think trying to preserve that and sort of work around, if we find contamination, it might not be as easy to just get rid of it or dig it out. You've got to preserve this site and also the age of it. The historical plans and maps and things, I don't even think the maps we looked at went back as far as this tower was here. So you really don't know what you're going to find under the ground. There might be old foundations, all sorts, when you're digging it up. So it really could possibly be full of surprises. So we'll be doing the phase 3 once we get our results back. We've carried out the phase 2 ground investigation, which was the drilling boreholes. We've collected samples from them and then they're currently at the lab for testing. Once we get those results back, we'll analyse the results. We basically compare the levels of contaminants against guideline levels for human health or plant life. So if something kind of exceeds one of these guideline levels, we'll flag it and then that becomes a risk and that goes into a further risk assessment. And with that, we'll identify any hotspots there are, and then part of the phase 3 remediation strategy will be how do we deal with those hotspots? Do we dig them out? Do we cap it, or various things you could do? Hopefully we don't find any, so that's pending, we'll find out soon, but that's basically the phase 3 remediation. And then if we have to carry out remediation, you then do the phase 4 verification, which will be when you're removing hotspots, you'll do sampling around the edges, make sure it's all actually gone. Any gas monitoring as well. So we've installed gas wells on site. Basically, ground gas can be a risk from made ground or sometimes natural deposits. You get carbon dioxide and other kind of gases produced. So we'll be monitoring them every 2 weeks over the next few months, getting readings from them. and that'll then inform the sort of gas protection measures that you'll need for the site. A project like this, it's really exciting to work on something that's so historical, and it's so like, it's been there for so long, and the new plans look amazing. Like, I had a look on the website at how, you know, the mock-ups of it and everything, and I think it's really stunning. It's quite nice as well having such a modern building, but you're keeping like the character of the old building there. Yeah, so I love kind of historical buildings. It's quite nice to see it retained in such a way and still have the character, and yeah, I think it'll just be a really sort of beautiful spot, I think, once it's done.